In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the heater control valve on this BMW 550i. This is going to be located in the engine bay towards the driver's side. Let's get into it. You want to make sure the engine is cool when you do this. You don't want the coolant to be hot. You don't want to get burned. And you can start out by draining the coolant system if you would like, or have a drain bucket underneath the valve while you're working on it. Now we're going to remove this lower panel. Use a Phillips head screwdriver. Just loosen these screws up. They're going to stay with the panel. Should be another one there. Just twist it a few turns. Grab the panel, slide it back. You want to drain the coolant system. On the base of the radiator, there is a drain. This vehicle, the part to twist is broken, so we're not going to be able to do that, but you want to twist that and make sure you have a drain bucket underneath and drain the coolant out. I'm going to remove this cover, take these nuts out, use a 10mm socket. Just grab the cover, slide it up out of the way. Using a straight blade screwdriver, I'm going to loosen up the worm clamp right here. That's good. You can slide that off. And then over near the throttle body, do the same. Just loosen that one up. Grab the snorkel, slide that off and out of the way. Yeah, disconnect the connector, just push down on the tab, slide that off. Now we're going to remove the top part of the airbox. There's just clips holding it in. Just want to release the clips. Grab the box, pull it up. You can pull the air filter out if you want to. Now we're going to use a T30 socket. Take these screws out. There's one on the front. Pull that out. There's one over here. And one over here. Grab that. Grab the airbox, and it slides right out. So we have a little more room. I'm just going to take the engine cover off. Just take this, slide it up. There is some grommets holding it on. Pop that out of the grommets, set that aside, disconnect the connector, just push down on the tab, slide that up, out of the way. And there's a hose clamp right here. We're just going to use some hose clamp pliers. Just squeeze that, slide it to the side. That's good. You can twist it back and forth, try to get the hose off. I'm just going to use a pick, just get underneath the hose. And again, you're going to need a drain bucket under here if you didn't drain the coolant out. A little bit of coolant came out, so just have a drain bucket underneath. This hose is back here. You can grab the valve, just slide it up. You can pull it out a little bit, so you can access those hose clamps. I'm just going to use some needle nose pliers on this one just to at least move it. able to move it down. So use hose clamp pliers or needle nose. And we'll take this hose off just with a pick. Just get under there. Just work that back and forth. There we go. Now there's one more hose still connected. We can pull this out. It's going to make it easier to disconnect this hose right here. I'll just use the hose clamp pliers. Just squeeze that out of the way. We'll just rotate this. It's still pretty tight, so use the pick. Take that off. Take the new valve. That one on the bottom, there's little caps on here. We'll take the caps off. Slide that in position, just like that. So you want it kind of how the hose naturally goes. And we'll put the hose clamp back in position. Just like that. That's good. We can take the other caps off. Slip this back down. Get the back hose on. And for the back hose, I'm going to use the needle nose pliers. Put that on the best you can. Take the hose clamps. It's in place, that's good. You can take the whole valve, get that lined up with the grommets. And push that down in place. There is a clamp at the base, or a grommet down below. You can see you need to slide that in place as well. Back. Just tip it back a little bit and just push it down. Now take the connector, line that up, lock it in place. Now any of the coolant that's spilled, you can wash that off with some water. Just make sure that's cleaned up and then just clean up your drain bucket underneath. Now I'll put this cover back on, get that lined up, line up the grommets. Push it in place. Take the air filter box, get that lined up, push that back on. There we go. And take the bolts, get those started. And I'll snug these down. Take the air filter, put that back in. Top cover, get that lined up, and then we'll just clip these in. Take the connector, lock that down. Now take the snorkel, get this lined up, and over the throttle body. Get the one clamp in place. And we'll tighten that down. Snug that down. And this one. That's good. Take the cover, get this lined up, get the studs lined up. Push that down and put the nuts in. And we'll tighten these down. Snug those down. Snug that down. Now you want to fill the coolant system with the appropriate coolant until you get to this max line. There's a level in here, so fill that up to max. When that's at max, we're going to start the engine with the cap off. Let the engine run for about 1 minute. You may notice that the coolant goes down. After a minute, you want to top it off so that that's back at the max line. While the engine's still running, put the cap on. Then you want to run the engine until it gets to operating temperature, making sure the engine doesn't overheat. After that, we're going to shut the vehicle down, let it cool completely, make sure it's nice and cold because you don't want any pressure in here, and then you're going to double check the level. Take the cap off, make sure there's no pressure. And then you're going to adjust the level again so that it is at the max level. You can see the little keyway on the side. So that should float like that to max. Put this panel up. Get it lined up. And take a Phillips head screwdriver. And get the screws started. There we go. That's good. And the rest of the panel. Now that was a quick and easy job, and you're back on the road.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.